I feel like chapter 11 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex has the potential to be a top 3 chapter we've seen yet. Not only because the previous chapter set up some interesting narratives and plot points, but because of the stakes that are currently presented to everyone in Konoha. Real quick, if you're new to the channel and enjoy content like this, then come on and subscribe to the channel. We're currently less than 200 subscribers away from hitting 6K, and I want to see if I can hit it before chapter 11 drops next week. So if you could help out with that, I'd really appreciate that. But enough of that, let's hop right into today's video. So obviously the main hype of chapter 11 mainly revolves around Himawari and Kurama's power, as well as Sarada versus Hidari, and perhaps a potential Mangekyo Sharingan showing. Now I'm gonna go live a few days prior to the chapter releasing to react to the spoilers with you guys. So if you want to join me on that, then make sure you have them post notifications turned on. But for right now, I just thought it'd be a good idea to get my general thoughts out on the chapter based on the current content that's been given to us. Even though everyone may be focusing on a couple of characters right now, we really got to read in between the lines on certain things to really see what's going to happen moving forward. Even past chapter 11. I know I talked about this before, but it was only briefly. I'll go into depth about why this is so significant. One of the fights that I think has the potential to manifest is Boruto and Sarada versus Hidari, and this is probably the fight we'll see first out of the many possible confrontations. So the last time we seen Boruto, he was still a little bit shaken up from his karma scare the chapter prior. There was a few theories that was proven correct from this encounter. The first and most obvious, Boruto is just way too strong for the likes of Kawaki to take down on his own right now. It's technically impossible as long as Boruto is on guard. Second, Boruto cannot control his karma on his own yet. Do I think sometime down the road he'll gain the ability to control Momoshiki's power? Yes, I actually do. But it might be a bit different than what we think. Because looking at how strong Boruto is right now, I don't think Boruto should be able to tap into such power without any risk. So that's the key word right here, risk. If we go back to Naruto, when it comes to tapping into great power, it always came with a risk, or some sort of extreme setback. One of the risks of Naruto constantly tapping into the power of the Nine Tails was the seal gradually weakening over time. Then, of course, with Baryon Mode, even though Naruto was offered great power, it cost the life of Kurama in the power of the Nine Tails as a whole. So there's always going to be some sort of risk associated with power, especially power that you didn't train to obtain or maybe foreign to your body. Some do overcome the risk though, but when it comes to the karma, I genuinely think there will always be that risk of Momoshiki taking over, just like it was with Kurama and Naruto. The only difference is, Boruto and Momoshiki will never have the same relationship as Naruto and Kurama, nor has it ever been hinted at or set up for that to happen. The most I can see is them forging some sort of a pact, or in JJK terms, a binding vow. But I definitely plan to go deeper into that later on in another video. I already got it planned, it's already lined up. So to save some content for later, I'm gonna cut it here. But to get back on track, the fact that Boruto can't control his karma yet limits just how far he can be pushed while he fights without going out of control. It also means he cannot fight with Kawaki, or be anywhere in the vicinity while Kawaki has his karma activated. And as we know, Kawaki is a karma merchant. He rarely ever fights without using his karma. It's just not gonna happen. If he fights without using his karma, it's simply gonna be clips for Kawaki. Curtains, it's over. And it's just because of the massive power amp that the karma provides. And especially against the Shinju, who even he couldn't touch with his karma activated. However, lucky for Boruto, or not lucky, it just depends on how you look at it, Kawaki is focused on the safety of Himawari and Team 10 right now. Maybe more so of Himawari. So this gives an overwhelming opportunity for Boruto to shift his attention to Sarada and Hidari, and possibly help her take down Hidari for good, or at least force him to retreat until a later time. Because I think no matter how you look at it, if you add Boruto to this fight, where Sarada already been proven to be able to keep up with Hidari, and to go as far as to slightly injure him, then I don't think there's a scenario where Boruto and Sarada lose or get pushed back. I just don't think it happens. We also gotta look at the timing. It honestly couldn't be better. because it still gives a chance for Sarada to get her shine by maybe fighting Hidari solo for a little while, just until Boruto arrives to the fight using his flying Raijin. Remember, Boruto doesn't know Kawaki went after Jura quite yet. It won't be until Shikamaru tells him Kawaki's location. I mean, Boruto can also feel his presence if he gets too close as well, but probably what will happen is Shikamaru tells Boruto Kawaki's motives, and that makes Boruto shift his focus. However, as much as I trust Boruto and Sarada to win their fight, I have to admit I don't have the same level of trust with Kawaki and the others, even with the help of the Nine Tails in Kawaki's Karma V1 or V2 state. I do believe Himawari can hold off Jura long enough for Kawaki to arrive to the site, and when I say hold off, I mean keep herself and Team 10 at least alive. But against a formidable foe like Jura, it'll be a miracle if they can do anything more than just rescue Team 10 from being unalived. I at least think they'll have the ability to do that. But to be able to injure Jura to a level to where he'll feel the need to retreat is still very low. The last thing I want my subscribers to do is overhype the newfound power of Himawari, just because it just got revealed. It's still nothing we haven't seen before. Even with the Nine Tails' help, it's just not possible for her to beat Jura right now. And I'm gonna stand on that. But here's where it gets interesting. This is where Kawaki is gonna be lucky to have someone like Ada so madly in love with him. The fact that Himawari nor Kawaki is strong enough to take Jura down is perfect. Because throughout this fight, I think both of them, but Kawaki in particular, will find himself of either on the brink of death or being devoured. Most likely the first option because of what Jura told Kawaki back in chapter 8. I'm not gonna kill you yet, so stay put, Otsutsuki, implying that if the opportunity presents itself, he may be interested in unaliving Kawaki, especially if doing so means he can finally devour his new target, which is Himawari. If Kawaki is in the way, which he will be, then Jura just isn't gonna hold back anymore. He'd just have no reason to hold back. But as you may have already guessed, it's a bit early for Kawaki to be knocking on death's door. Due to Ada's Senragon, she could see all of these events happening in real time, as she already seen the Shinju talking about who their target was, as well as when they first enter Konoha. So the same goes for when Kawaki enters his fight with Jura. Odds are, she'll see Kawaki get whooped again and fly after him to help. But it's not even about Ada at this point, as some may have already guessed. It's about that little menace beside her that will protect her no matter what. Which of course brings me to my next point. We have a brawl between Daemon and Jura. The first time we'll see Daemon fight post time skip, and definitely try harder than he ever did in a fight. This could bring about some interesting events, because not only do we get more Daemon scaling, we also can see how effective Daemon's reflective ability is against the Shinju. Because I do think there could be some complications on how Daemon's power works against the Shinju, who have different cognitive functions than regular humans, which is very important for later on down the road. So I fully expect Daemon to make an appearance next chapter, or at least hint at an appearance, which is more likely. And it's only because of Ada. Without her acting first, Daemon wouldn't care what happens to Kawaki, Boruto, or even Himawari. He even says he doesn't care about what happens to Kawaki, unlike Big Sis. It's also easy to forget about a guy like Mitsuki in all of this commotion, because he's just not as noteworthy as everyone else at this point in the story. But he can have some significance to this fight. It may not be fighting in particular, but perhaps he can be the key into discovering a specific weakness for the Shinju. I mean, it's a long shot, but it's very possible considering Mitsuki was supposed to join in the fight sooner. Him being a Konoha shinobi, he's not supposed to have a choice but to fight. So him joining in the fight is long overdue anyway. I mean, I do also want to talk about another possibility I was thinking about, besides Ada and Daemon getting involved. Just in case Kishimoto decides to keep Daemon from fighting until he absolutely needs to against the bug clone. But there is also the possibility of Boruto and Sarada making Hidari retreat because of their power just being superior to that of Hidari's. And then after that, they could possibly join in the fight with Jura. But there was just too many problems with this theory, because this would definitely mean Boruto would have to fight with his karma activated, you know, from Kawaki being there and everything. And mind you, this is something he absolutely does not want to happen, nor should anyone want that to happen. And I don't want to just sit up here and assume Boruto and Sarada just run through Hidari easily, because we don't know all of his abilities or what he's really capable yet in an all-out battle. So it could possibly take longer than expected for them to deal with him, or at least long enough to keep them from joining up with the others to supply any type of help. For the majority of the chapter, it would most likely be focused on Himawari and Jura for the most part, because the story in general is focused on her and her new Nine Tails power. But what I explained in this video is options the manga can go according to certain narratives and direction the story is moving in at this time. So definitely expect some of this to happen or be hidden at either next chapter or chapter 12. So basically that's what I really think is bound to happen, which is why I think chapter 11 will be one of the best action-packed chapters we have seen yet. And this one thing I probably didn't talk about, but it is on purpose. I didn't talk about Inojin and his survive probability. I mean, I really think we have two options in this case, because when it really comes down to it, I just don't think Inojin will die. I mean, there's a possibility of Kawaki arriving and placing him in the Daikokuten dimensions just so his injuries don't worsen. But the thing is, I don't think Kawaki would want to reveal that he can do such a thing just yet, because then it'll bring us some talking points about where Naruto really is. So he really has to be careful on who he shows that ability to. So the most probable thing that will happen is Himawari healing him or trying to heal him with her Nine Tails chakra. I honestly don't know what's in store for Inojin, but I just hope he survived, because at this point there's really no reason to kill off such a character. But to be honest, I'm not as interested in Inojin as I am with everybody else. So as far as he goes, I'll just wait and see what happens to him. But I got my money on Himawari just saving him with her Nine Tails chakra. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this in the near future, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified whenever I post or go live for chapter spoilers. And let me know if you agree on what I said, or if you think something else will happen according to the direction of the story, as well as if I missed any key points you think I should have mentioned that could have helped my case, or just added to the discussion overall. But without further ado, I appreciate everyone who watched until this point, and until my next video, I'll see y'all later. I'm out. Peace.